You recall how ArcheAge 2 was slated to release in 2024? Then, as we approached 2024, it got pushed back towards the end of 2024. Well, now that we're in 2024, in a shocking turn of events, it got pushed back again. I know, surprise! Not just ArcheAge 2 though, Chrono Odyssey, what seems to be a beautiful, fast-paced action MMO, also got pushed back. What was once expected to release in 2024, well, is no longer releasing in 2024, but that's fine. You know why? Because they share a publisher, and their publisher, which has a history of delaying their MMOs like they did with Allion, and have continued to do with Odin Valhalla Rising, has confirmed a release date, or at the very least, release year for both upcoming games. Unreal Engine 5 powered action MMORPGs, yes, plural, they're both action games. ArcheAge 2 and Chrono Odyssey to launch in 2025. Now let me preface this by stating that both of these games are open world MMOs. They're both developed by Korean studios. They featured action combat. It's like if Terra and Blade and Soul released at the same time, they essentially end up cannibalizing each other due to the stark similarities in terms of, well, everything. So I'm hoping that they understand this. There's a reason that Amazon has repeatedly pushed back Blue Protocol, because they needed Throne and Liberty out first, and they understand and do not want an overlap in titles. The publisher, Kakao Games, the very same studio that ruined Black Desert before Pearl Abyss took back control, who shut down Allion, they shut down ArcheAge as well recently, and arguably one of the worst track records launching and maintaining an MMO long term, want to launch 2 MMOs that are going to be in direct competition with one another. This cannot end well. In Kakao's first quarter financial report for 2024, Kakao revealed that both ArcheAge 2 and Chrono Odyssey are confirmed to be releasing in 2025. Both games are developed by separate studios. While both have 2025 release years confirmed, it doesn't look as though there's a definitive time frame, meaning that they could potentially space the release of both games out. Before we delve any deeper into this, I want to take a moment to thank my incredible patrons over on Patreon, allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single week. You guys are phenomenal, and I cannot thank you all enough for the support. Chrono Odyssey is described as having dynamic and action-filled battle with unique classes and wide-ranging weapons, fascinating experience delivered through manipulation of time and space in a fantasy world, a diverse array of PvE content, strengthening roleplay features, and customization based on wide-ranging options and a high degree of freedom. From what we saw in the trailer footage, this doesn't seem like an unrealistic expectation, and I genuinely believe that this game will ultimately end up being a lot of fun to play. I just have a suspicion that Kakao are going to make it horrifically pay to win. ArcheAge 2, on the other hand, is described as having non-target action combat, maximizing the fun of mainstream combat styles and maneuvers, single-play style with an immersive narrative based on an inherited universe, tightly knit open world with unfettered adventure, and inherits ArcheAge IP and its livelihood content. This is something I'm a little less enthusiastic about. The single play style, meaning that there's going to be a focus on solo play rather than content meant to be consumed with other players. You know, the purpose behind a massively multiplayer online game, inheriting the ArcheAge IP and its livelihood content based on an inherited universe. The ArcheAge is a very fun game, but at the same time, they've confirmed that they are going to be removing a lot of the open world PvP elements to better focus on PvE, which was never really the main focus of the original incarnation of ArcheAge. Part of what made ArcheAge fun was its PvP, and with this no longer being a focus, or at the very least the main focus, what exactly are they inheriting? How is this even going to be the same game targeting the same demographic of players? If you're targeting PvE players, then you're going to want to target Final Fantasy XIV or WoW's player base, and those players are very dedicated to their games. ArcheAge 2 is the sequel to ArcheAge, with Kakao shutting ArcheAge down recently due to an empty player base and nobody left spending any money. Chrono Odyssey was announced back in 2020, they went quiet for a couple years, then they just popped back up with a new trailer and a confirmation that it was releasing onto PC and console. Npixel's first game, and also their last game, was Grand Saga. This was a cross-platform MMO released onto PC and mobile. Both ArcheAge 2 and Chrono Odyssey are releasing onto PC and console respectively. Odin Valhalla Rising was confirmed to be releasing in 2024 after a confirmation that it would release in 2023 and was delayed repeatedly. And after a year of silence from the devs, we're left approaching the second half of the year with not a whisper from them. Last we heard, they were considering removing autoplay from the global version of the game, as Odin Valhalla Rising is a PC mobile cross-platform MMO, which means it has autoplay, auto combat, auto pathing. They have time, however, as they did confirm that the release would be in the second half of 2024. With releases slated for 2025, we should expect beta tests for at the very least one of these games soon-ish. For both Chrono Odyssey and ArcheAge 2 to be successful, they need to release with a large enough gap between launch dates. Otherwise, as I noted earlier in the video, they will cannibalize one another, meaning an early Q1 release for one, and likely a later Q4 release for the other. And if we're gonna get a Q1 release, we need beta tests to begin within the next few months. Odin Valhalla Rising's beta test needs to begin very soon, or it'll end up delayed into 2025 as well. And honestly, by then, the game might as well already be irrelevant. It's already several years old. Now, if none of this is of any interest to you, absolutely no problem. I got you covered with 2 different videos on screen right now that might be more up your alley.